So I'm here at Home Depot, and go figure, there's nobody here to help you. They have the items I need, but they're in the back, and you know, you have too many people that are scared of hard work. So I was like, hey, if you just open it up for me so I can do it, I'll load it. And I got about a ton of stuff I have to load by hand, but it's the world we're living in, guys. If you don't take initiative, it won't get done. So essentially what's going on here is they have all this product that isn't inside, so they have it here, which is kind of standard. But if you look on the app, that says they have so many different types of product on the shelves, and it's not, because it hasn't been pulled back yet. So you need somebody with a forklift to come pull it back. Well, they don't have any workers that want to do it. There are workers, and I saw them complain and bitch and moan about, hey, that's not my job, that's fucking Johnny's job, or that's Mark's job, or whatever. So everybody's complaining about who's gonna take it and move it back around. And I just don't, I'm like, you know, I'll wait here as long as you need me to, but you know, I already paid, you know, a lot of money for all this equipment and all these things. I need to pick them up. So the management's trying to work on having their, you know, employees work, and you can see them arguing, and you know, you have one guy that's like, well, go ahead and fucking fire me, which I think is hilarious, because again, that's a personnel issue. But you know, and I'm a little more confrontational than I should be, and I'm just like, hey, well, if your employees want to be fucking pussies and not work, I have my receipt. Can I just go back there and grab the Cinderblocks that I need? I mean, I'll load it up myself. I got a truck and trailer. Can I just go back there and do it? Because I can't wait here until you figure out your personnel shit. And he was just like, yeah, sure, go ahead. I don't see a problem with that. So that's what we're gonna fucking do. So there you go, bunch of Cinderblock. Well, I'm just gonna take what I please. So I started cutting into it, and then these guys right here stopped me because they're for customers. So what I started cutting up was an order for somebody else, and apparently that guy's important enough for them to send a runner out to come yell at me. And I'm like, well, I don't know why you guys are acting fucking surprised. I mean, you're making people wait 45 fucking minutes. So what do you expect to happen? Like, well, we have problems with people stealing. Yeah, well, I get it, especially when you make good people who paid wait 45 fucking minutes. Like, honestly, what do you expect to happen? I know, I'm like, no, trust me, I get it. So I got the guy who we had a little exchange of words to help me out. He understood, and I understood where he's coming from. There's no hard feelings, you know. I'm one of those guys that I'm not here at Home Depot hoping somebody does the work for me. My biggest thing is, and maybe this is just, you know, that small town mentality, is I'm not saying you need to help me, but at least get the fuck out of my way so I can get it done, man. We got some prepping to do. We got projects to do, you know? So here, take my money and let me help you. Let me help you. I'll do all the work. Just stay out of the way. You know, and it's one of those things where things are getting harder and harder to do, and service is getting worse and worse. I can tell you that me and my wife were at a restaurant not too long ago. I think it was, it's one of those popular, I think it's called Buffalo Wild Wings. And I know in the past, historically, you know, 5-10 years ago, you know, we'd go and we get great service, quick service, because that's what it was about, right? It's about getting your food relatively quick, drinks relatively quick, you know, get you fed, get the game watched, and then you're out of there. Well, not anymore. I mean, we had such a hard time just getting our meal order placed, much less drink orders placed, that, you know, it just goes to show that in this day and age, and you can call it whatever you want, economy, COVID, work placement, whatever you want to call it, it's getting ridiculous. It's getting fucking ridiculous. And so this Home Depot experience is just another indicator of that, just in, you know, in even the self-serve area like Home Depot, you can't even get the stuff that they claim is there. And so all the indicators are out there. Again, if you think, and this comes down to you need to start producing now, and I get it, not everyone's gonna want to produce. I'm not saying produce, but you better start making and forging those relationships with people who are producers, because there's gonna come a point where just because you have the money in the bank or money in the card or money in your wallet doesn't mean you're gonna be able to go to some place and actually buy the products that are there, nor will the products actually be there for whatever supply chain issue, whatever employee issue, whatever issue that there may be in that infrastructure. There may become a time where you may be waiting for a long time because the products in the store have not been unloaded because they just don't have the employees to do it, or worse yet, problems in the supply chain where that order just never got to the store. Those supplies were never there. They never got there. Again, hear my words here. I'm not saying you have to be a producer of things, but I'm going to tell you what, This idea that homesteaders and preppers are so different and how we go about business is different couldn't be further from the truth. There is going to come a time where all the things you've stockpiled and hoarded are going to become irrelevant, right? It always has to come down to solution-based preparedness. I don't care who you are. You don't have to be a producer. I'm not telling you to be a producer, but if you don't know the fucking producer, you are still equally fucked. Because at the end of the day, you need a producer, whether that's Walmart or the person down the street that has the goods and supplies that you need. And if you refuse to be a producer yourself, you better start forging those relationships with people that are already doing it. Because whether I like it or not, today was a great example. I could go to Home Depot, they could say we have 720, 730, 1,000, 10,000 cinder blocks, but if there's nobody there to unload it, if there's nobody there for me to get access to it, I don't have it. I can't get it, right? Or if somebody didn't put it on the truck to get there, guess what? It's not there. So at the end of the day, I'm gonna have to either go without, or I'm gonna have to do what I need to do now, right? And form those relationships and look and find producers of things that I need. Plain and simple. The same speech is for me as it is for anybody else, okay? We need to start becoming our own producers, and or we need to start forming relationships with producers, because it's gonna come to a point where going to the store is gonna be a whole lot more difficult than how it normally is of, I'm just gonna go there and all my shit's gonna be there, I'm gonna give them money and they're gonna load it on my cart. That may not be the case in the very near future. At the end of the day, the message really comes down to this. Industry is failing us. The supply chains are failing us, and this is nothing new. And I don't mean catastrophic failures. I mean failures on every level, whether it is the logistics portion of the house, whether it is the supply portion of the house, whether it is the actual sending out of products side of the house. All these lines of action, they're failing. And just because you have the fiat currency to pay for something doesn't mean that you're owed it or you're entitled to it. And so it's important for us to realize, if we are people that depend on infrastructure, which majority of us are, if we are people that go to places in order to get goods and services, expect those goods and services to come to a head, okay? Expect it. Expect longer wait times. Expect less product. Accept the fact that you're gonna have less access to these products and services. So ultimately, you have two options, and there's only two options. I wish there was more. You have two options. Either you become a producer of things, or you start forging relationships with those producers, because at the end of the day, that's all you got. You know, and regardless if you guys want to call yourselves homesteaders, preppers, fucking Santa Claus, whatever, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, the only thing that truly matters is where you get your goods and services from. And if you depend on the outside, right? If you are not a producer and you refuse to be a producer, it means you got to depend on somebody. So who are you depending on? And let's be honest, 99.9% of us are depending on the Walmarts, the Costcos, the Sam's Clubs, the Aldis, the Targets of the world. So at the end of the day, you got to figure it out. Is that a sustainable option? Is that the option that you want to rest your hat in? Something to think about. And if you truly believe that these corporate conglomerates are a feasible solution for the rest of your life, what's the point of preparing? If Walmart, Aldi, Costco, Sam's Club, Target, if they're always going to have what you want, why do you prepare? Why do you stockpile? Why do you hoard? Because if you do think that those are unsustainable options, what's your game plan when they become unsustainable? When all that stuff goes away, what's your game plan? I mean, again, it's as simple as that. If you do not want to produce, fine. But you better find some dependable infrastructure. Find it quick. Well, that's all I have for you guys. As always, long live the Republic.